Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Ahmed Mumtaz Mustasan, your teacher for CSC 141 Introduction to Computer Programming. Students, we are doing some hands-on exercises, and I'm using the examples given in your reference book, How to Program C by Detail in Detail. And I have advised you that in the last lecture, whatever exercises and demonstration I have given to you, you please try each and every exercise, each and every example that has been demonstrated on your computer, and try to find out the basic concepts that have been demonstrated, because these are the concepts that we have already studied during our lessons, during my previous lectures. But it's very important that whatever we learn, we should and we must practice them in the C environment, okay? Because I've already said that this is not a theoretical course, this is a practical course. And since we are sitting at a distance from each other, therefore I am again and again trying to communicate it to you that please spend some time, rather spend some good time in your environment that I have demonstrated you in the beginning to set up at your homes and at your convenient places. So in this particular lecture I will still continue, and the topics that I will be covering today. Multi-dimensional array, I wanted to demonstrate it in the previous demo lectures, but I could not complete that due to the time limitation. So I've decided that I will quickly go through one example of this multi-dimensional array, and then I'll spend some good time in the library functions for characters and strings, because we have spent almost 2 lectures on that, and this is a very, very important topic on our computer programming, to handle the characters and strings, because we treat them in different ways. We can treat the string as an array of character, and then we have a variety of ways through which we can process our data. And we have already learned that how can we process an string as an array and as a pointer also. So these 3 topics, pointers, arrays and strings, are interlinked together, and we need to understand the basic fundamental concepts that are required. So what I will like to do here, that once again I will start with the environment, and you know this is Microsoft Visual Environment, and that contains the Visual C. So maybe we can stay with this, or maybe we can define, okay, today we defined a new project. It's an empty project, and I give it a name as string demo. Basically it comprises string and arrays also, so I can just call it as demo 3, and we can just open it up. So this is demo 3, and in this demo 3, because just I want to start with a fresh and neat and clean, so we can start with new item and not HTML but C++, and I would like to give it a name. And my first exercise, okay, please note that this is the official website of Detail. This is detail.com, and your book, See How to Program, this is 7th edition, and I am using the examples given in your book. So double array example, and I will just copy this. This is almost a complete project. This example is almost a complete project, so that's why I would like to spend some time on it. I can copy it and take it into my environment, and this is basically multi-dimension array. Multi-dimension array. at. Okay, here I can paste the whole project, and obviously we need to correct, because there is when we copy, we see that there are some spaces which are automatically skipped, and although we save a lot of time of typing by cut and paste of this particular, so this int, you can see that this environment is very user friendly. Without compiling, it can give you with the red mark, and you can find out the errors. Okay, this return, obviously this return is wrong, should be with the small letter return. And what else? Const int. Okay, there should be a space in between. Apparently there are no more errors. If there are any, don't worry, we know how to correct that, and we can spend some time and find out the error. Okay, what is basically this particular example is? Okay, this is the same example that I have used in my lesson, and where we said that we will use a two-dimension array, and we will use the one dimension to represent the student and the second dimension to represent the exams. Okay, I hope you remember that. And I have not changed the data. Whatever the data is there in the example given in the book, I have used the same data. So in this particular program, we will be using a function minimum. This function find out the minimum grade of a student among the class of, let's say, 4 students. And this is the maximum grade of any particular student. So you can see that it's a two-dimension array, and the first dimension is we use don't provide the size, but for the second dimension we need to provide the size also as an argument, and that I have already taught you in the class. And this is the number of student, the size of the first dimension, and this is the size of the second dimension also, although this is the defined word here, so I've been providing it here, so yet we can pass it on as a argument. Okay, next, to compute an average, the same two-dimension array, now we are computing the average of each and every student, so set of grade. So instead of passing the two-dimension array, we will pass only one-dimension array here, only one-dimension array, and we will pass the data of one single student, and we will find out the average. Then we will also like to use a function print array, and that print array should print our result. So we start from the main. Students, don't be worried with this size of underscore t. This is a structure that has already been defined data type, and type def basically is integer data type, but it is integer which should not have the negative value. Here we have defined a two-dimension array, and we have initialized it with, as I said, consider row number 0 is the student number 1, student number 2, student number 3. So there are 3 students, not 4 students, as I said in the beginning. So it is basically 3 student example comprising 3 students but 4 subjects. Okay, exam of 4 subjects. These are the result of student number 0 got 77 marks in first exam, 68 in second, 86 in third, and 73 in fourth, and so on. So we can call a print array, and here we can pass it on a two-dimension array, and you know that this time we are just passing the name of the array, which is a two-dimension array. It's automatically this environment is also showing that this is a two-dimension array, this is the size that. Okay, so this is the size as an argument. So then we call a function to compute the minimum, and then we call a function to compute the maximum grade of this particular among the 3 students and among each subject. So this is the minimum grade of one particular student of not one particular student, a student who got a minimum grade among 3 students and among 4 subjects. So it is basically the minimum among 12. So there are 4 subjects and there are 3 students, so there are basically 12 combinations. Then we can compute the average, and once again we pass it on an array, but this time you can see that we are passing this only one dimension array, means the name of the students we are just passing as an address, and then we can just pick up the second dimension as the student score, and then the number of exam. Okay, so आप ये देखेंगे हम 2 dimension array को कितने variety of styles से we are using it here, then here, and here. This is the declaration, that's okay. This is the calling through this, here also from here. This is the same, and here it is slightly different because we have passed it on to the function. So the minimum will receive it in grades. This student grade here, it's okay. यहाँ आप देखें हमने ये 2 dimension array को इस तरह एड्रेस पास ऑन किया, और यहाँ पर ये जो मैंने आपसे कहा था कि this is important, this is very important. Okay, so it's just we assume in the beginning that grade is minimum is 100. जब मिनिमम हम सपोज करते हैं तो हाई वैल्यू करते हैं, और जब मैक्सिमम सपोज करते हैं तो लो वैल्यू सपोज करते हैं. यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम कौन सा है, ये दिस इज द मैक्सिमम. यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम वी अज्यूम 0 और यहाँ मिनिमम वी आर अज्यूम 100, ताकि आपका एक्चुअल डेटा डेट में कम इनसाइड इट. सो दिस इज द आउटर लूप फॉर द रोज एंड दिस इज फॉर द कॉलम, एंड यू आर सेइंग rows and column. If it is less, then you pick it up and then finally you return it back. Okay, important क्या है इसमें, average देख लेते हैं. In the average we receive, okay, this is we are receiving in a single dimension array, so we are passing the grade of the student and then the test. So we are using this 2 dimension array as only the address of the 1 dimension array, and then we will move in the second direction with the help of this subscript, and we are using it here. Print array, basically just the for the title and printing the data. Let's assume it does not contain any error message, and we compile it. Control F7. We are lucky, yes, really there is no any error message. So let's run it, and we run it like this. Good, we got the answer. So this is the student grade that we are just printing. Just would like to go back here. Yeah, coming back. So this is the call of the function that has printed the array is here, and then we have a function, and this function has printed the data here. Okay, and then we call the minimum, and after calling the minimum and then calling the maximum, then we minimum then maximum lowest grade of the students, the highest grade of the student is a printf. So basically we are using this function as an argument of this printf. So this printf will print the minimum grade here, then \n, then the highest grade here. So that should be here. Lowest grade is 68 and highest grade is 96. Then we find out the average, and once again we are calling the function. Here we are using the student number, so it should be the student 0, 1, 2, because this loop comes from 0 less than student 3, and the second argument should provide us the average, and this is the average of each student. Average of student 0, student 1, student 2. Okay, so please try this exercise by yourself, and you will have a good practice of handling a multi-dimension array. So once again, we usually what we do is we save it into the as a resource file, or in order to avoid any unexpected error, should exclude it, apply OK. And now I am going to add a new item, and in C++, and let us see what do we have as a next exercise to our demonstration. Okay, the character set. We have learned some character functions, and we say that in order to use this character function we need to include ctype.h. So we would like to see is digit, is alphanumeric, or is hexadecimal digit. It's although very simple, but it's better that we do it at least once so that we have a confidence that we have done that. So it's very tedious, but just for the sake, as I am asking you to do that, so I'm doing it for you, so that आप ये ना कहें कि टीचर ने खुद तो उसको demonstrate नहीं किया and just have advised us to do that. Okay, so this is Control C. Go back here, and here it is P. Character functions name, and then I can just place it here, and just to stay हम इसको इस दफ़ा कॉपी करेंगे इंशाल्लाह. It's include IO stream what is this error? Include IO stream. No, I think the spelling is wrong. IOSTREAM. So what's wrong? Include seems to be okay. Then IO stream. Sometimes it happens. So why it is showing an error? Source file IO stream K. Oh. Now it's okay. So I put here system. ठीक, नो एरर. चलिए इसे कंपाइल करते हैं, इसको क्लोज कर देते हैं फर्स्ट, देन नाउ वी जस्ट कंपाइल इट, बिल्ड, थैंक्स गॉड सक्सेसफुल, एंड the output. Now you can see this in this example here. It is basically the format specifier, but this is the function is digit 8. So we have checked a conditional operator here. So do you remember conditional operator? क्या करता है ये? First is called test. If this is true, the answer is this one, 8 is A, and if it is false, then the answer should be this one. So this is the basically digit, and we can say that if 8 is a digit, if it is true, it will say 8 is A. If it is not true, then the answer will be 8 is not A digit. So if 8 is a digit, it will print 8 is a digit, otherwise it will print 8 is not a digit. So this number sign is a digit, or number sign is not a digit. So basically this is the test. If true, then it will return this, otherwise if false, then it will return this. Okay, and this is the answer. Similarly it goes with the alpha. If A is an alphabet, then it will return A is an alpha letter, otherwise say that A is not a letter. For example, if we say here alpha, this ampersand sign, so it should say ampersand sign is not a letter here. Then comes alphanumeric. Alphanumeric कहते हैं combination of alphabet and a numeric digit. So if your enter digit is either an alphabet or a digit, then it should return true. So A should be alphanumeric, or it is either a digit, it's A is either a digit or a letter. So it's a digit or a letter. It's a digit or a letter. It's digit or a letter. Or but if it is not, so then you can say this is not a digit or a letter. So we can say this is neither a digit nor a letter. So this is the output here. A is a letter, B is a letter. This alphanumeric is not a letter, 4 is not a letter, but is alphanumeric. Then it is A is a letter, 8 is also alphanumeric, but hash is not an alphanumeric. So similarly you can find it is the hexadecimal digit. So it basically check hexadecimal digit. आपको पता है कौन सी होती हैं? 0 to 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. So J is not an hexadecimal digit. 7 is yes hexadecimal digit. $sign is not an hexadecimal digit, and F is an hexadecimal digit. Okay, so this is the demonstration. So instead of writing a new code, what I will do is I will simply copy the next few functions here and paste it here to demonstrate that is lower, is upper, 2 lower and 2 upper. So बजाय इसके कि I just save it separately, but I will advise you to save this separately. Okay, and you should know that by this time how can we save all our exercises here. So I just simply copy this main here. When I copy the main here and std and this is the duplication, क्योंकि मैंने उसी में I have saved it in the same environment. Okay, so this is the demo of not this is a demo of other functions which include lowercase, uppercase and conversion. So I should not keep this documentation here. Rather, if you like, we can just bring this documentation. So that in future we can just use it for our exercise and practice. So you can just keep it is lower is upper, 2 lower, 2 upper. It should be demonstration. And the same thing, we are using the library functions, 2 upper is upper, and then this is a conversion, and is lower is a test. We are passing it the character as an argument, and once again we are using a conditional operator. The conditional operator is a test. If it's true, then this. If it's false, then this. So quickly build, successful, run. Oh, let's go back to previous one. We have just deleted that. Maybe here. So I would like to copy this, Control C, and would like to place it here, and bajay copy karne ke we can quickly type here system. Okay, build, successful, and this. So P is not a lowercase character. Similarly, this is upper. This is D is an uppercase letter. Yes, this D is not an uppercase letter. 8 is not an uppercase letter, and $sign is not an uppercase letter. Similarly, we can convert U to upper U. 7 remains the same. Dollar remains the same, and convert it to a lowercase. This was we have converted to uppercase, and this we have converted to lowercase. Okay, so simple. I think I have few more demonstrations here. Is space, is control character, is punctuation, is print. It just take a couple of minutes, so I will be doing that. This I need for my documentation purpose, so I just use it. Control C, and then I will be using the same program, but I have advised you that you should be saving it also. Also let me save this. So first I will delete then I will keep this. Also I would like to keep this, delete, and then I paste, and I can take this iostream, I can put it here, or I can delete this. So that should not have, it's an error. Okay, so I delete, so this error has gone. Okay, I've done nothing, just I've cut paste, and I've brought a few more functions demonstration here, and that contain is space, is control character, is punctuation, is printable character, or is a graphical character. And this is the demonstration, and we have passed different data to that, and this is very simple, that you are passing the data, or if it is true then you can use that. Okay, so quickly control F7 and control F5 to run. So you can say that new line is a white space character, horizontal tab is a white space character. So ये जो हम use करते हैं ना format specifier में, so just try to show here this control character. Control में नहीं, इधर देखते हैं. Yes, new line is space \n is a space, no this is not a space, and this is a white space. Okay, it is considered as a white space. Is space means white space. \tab is a white space. This is not a white space. Okay, so we can see the result here. Similarly, new line is not a control character, $sign is not a new line, is a control character. Here is control character, new line, it is a control character, $sign is not a control character. Then you can see the punctuations, these are the punctuation. Y is not a punctuation, this you can consider it as a punctuation. Special characters, they are basically called the punctuations. Then is punctuation, yes. Then we can check, is a graphical character, Q is a printable character, and space is not a printable character. So if you know the code of any particular character, then you can check it out here, that whether it is a printable character or not. Or I still myself don't remember any code of a non-printable character, so I just leave it as it is. Good. So we are moving today a bit fast and completing this one. String to double. This is the example that we used. This time we will be using this example, and we will convert this part to as a double, and the remaining part we will keep it as the remaining character here. Okay, you still, I hope that you remember this string to double that converts this string to double, and you can pick up the remaining part by the string graph. So this is a function d that returns a double, d is a double, and string to double is a function, so you pass it on the string. Okay, name of the string is the address of the string that you pass it on, and this gives you the remainder part of the string here, and you can use always the remainder part here. So let me copy, this is using string to double. String to double, still I would like to use the same delete. Like here I can paste, make sure there are no two mains here, there are two mains here. So what should I delete? This should I delete using function string to double. So this is a valid documentation here that I would like to keep here. we like to use another, we can use these two slashes to print the comments. Okay, then this is redundant. I can take this out. strcpy, I might be needing strcpy, so I'll just take this out, delete. Okay, so main starts and close in the system. IOStream is still not there. IOStream is there, so what's wrong with this? Then it should work. Okay, it's not working because it is out of the main, so we can delete this. Now it should work. Yes, it's okay now. So this function should take this, convert this into double, and the remaining part are admitted remains as a string. So string pointer and this string, and then we can output the value double here, D. This is the output D that we will use, and the remaining part here. So let us compile this. Control F7, Control F5. Oh, what's wrong? Yes, can you find the error? I do. What's that? The output window already opened. So you cannot create a new exe if the output window is already open, because the previous exe file, this demo3.exe, is already opened, so you cannot create a new file. So for that purpose you release this. No output window here. Now you compile it. Control F7, compile, and since it should print this time, sorry, the string 51.2%. This is basically the part, the system is intelligent enough that this is the part of this decimal. So this 51.20 is converted as this, and percentage are admitted. Okay, this is the part of the string. So the remainder of the string has been returned with this pointer that you passed on to the system here, and this you have declared here string ptr. Okay, and the name of the string is the address, basically, not like, because the name of the array is basically the string. So basically you have passed on the address of this string, and it worked. Okay, let us see next example. String to long, maybe should be very quick. Okay, this we need to delete. Include is there, this duplication, this documentation is okay. So basically what I can do is I can copy and I can delete this. Okay, then I can compile. Once again, same mistakes. For instance, this should be closed and then we build. Okay, so the original string is this one, it's long. So it has taken this number out, -1 to this, so it can take, and then you can also see that we have just manipulated and demonstrated that converted value plus this one. So we have added this to this, and so show that it is a string, but since the size becomes larger, so you can have a negative, similarly you can have a positive, but again Control F7 and Control F5. ओके एक ही मिस्टेक हम बार बार कर रहे हैं. कंट्रोल F5. This time you have got this, and whatever you have added here is added like that. Okay, so previously we have subtracted this because previously it was negative number, and you added 5, 6, 7, so it worked and you got the right answer. This time it is positive, so the number has been added. ठीक है ना? Last time याद है क्या हुआ था? Either it was negative here. Let me close and repeat it so that you understand what happened last time. Control F7, then Control F5, Control F7, Control F5. यहाँ पे आप देखें, the answer was -1 2 3 4 0 0 0. Why? This 5 6 7 plus we have added here, plus 5 6 7. So we added plus 5 6 7, so this becomes 0 0 0. Therefore the answer is 0. And when this is positive, then the number is added. So don't be confused with this output, that answer you have got. So I hope I'm not going very fast. I'm just going with speed, but I expect that you will be doing it and you will be practicing all these exercises at home. So copy. I'm saving a lot of time because I'm not saving all these files. So I expect that since you have got the video, that you can always do it. Also, this particular file, from which I'm picking up the data, this file I will place it up in the portal. So you will have this code, and since I'm your teacher and I'm allowed to use this code, so you are my students, you are also allowed to use this code for the practice purposes. Okay, but make sure that once you cut and paste that, then the problems that occur you are required to handle by it yourself. Okay, have I copied that? Maybe yes. So okay, इसको डिलीट कर देते हैं. Delete, maybe one more delete. Okay, this is a duplication, this is the right documentation. I just keep it up here, and then I can duplicate this. I can delete, yes. And these two lines are also duplicated. It doesn't harm if you already include that, then it does not include if it is already included, but still it should be a good, neat and clean function, because we need to learn from these functions and usage of these functions. So this time I've used it which I think I have already demonstrated that by making a change. So I will use this next function for using function fs and get, because this I have already done that. It is simply just changing the string 1, string 2. Okay, this is another function. This I need to copy. This is something very interesting, so I would like to show it. हमने इसको copy नहीं किया था है, so let us copy and do it again. Control V, delete. This time I need to add this, so this is the documentation. This I should delete. Stream I may add because I need it. Rest I can delete. Okay, So this is a function, the string p break. That gives you some interesting output. First I will execute it and then I will explain it, that how does it work, what does it mean, that you are searching the occurrence of any character present in it to this function string1. So let me explain by running it, executing it. It says that A appears earliest in this function. So this particular function, when you pass string1 and string2, that out of these characters, it says that A appears first in this. So suppose it says that A appears earliest in this function. So let us change to some other value, I. If I put I, so I should be the function that appears first here, S. Okay, so build, run. This time I appears earliest in this function. Then build, okay. So there seems to be some something unidentified error here. In the previous, when I tried to build up and nothing was there to compare, so it was not terminating. So we should at least provide one address, one character that is matching here. Okay, so this function basically try to find out the occurrence, first occurrence of any character that is present in the given string. Good. Let us go back and see what do we have now. Now there is an example of fgetS and putchar. There are some very useful functions, so I would like to show it to you how they work. So maybe put it back here and exclude it. Property, you can exclude it here and create a new file. You can always add new item, this, and exercise for IO using get and put. So I can copy, reverse. This function is very interesting function. So not only will be learning fgetS and putchar, but also we will like to see that how this reverse function is done, and this reverse will be doing with the help of recursion. Include iostream, and just to stay here, system pause. Okay, let us see. This is more than fgetS and putchar. fgetS, we can just read it from the usually we read it from the file, but we have not studied file. So this time this function we have already studied getS, not fgetS. So just bear with me. I will teach you inshallah in the next lecture when we will talk about files, next to next lecture. So stdin basically the standard input, and the standard input device is keyboard. So at this stage you just remember that this getS function reads something into the buffer that you have defined here. Then the size of the buffer you also need to specify. Then we specify from where you want to read, and this part you may not understand at this stage, but I promise that I will teach you in the next class. So the important is put as, basically put the string onto the output. Reverse function. This reverse function is a very interesting function, and this uses basically the recursion, and I've taught you how to handle the recursion. And what we do, we find out till the SPTR0 is not equal to null. Null कब होगा? When this will terminate. जब तक ये null नहीं होता, it will keep on moving forward, forward, forward. And if it is not null, then it is called back to itself. Reverse is calling back to itself very intelligently. देखें, it was a 0 here. Now we are calling it for 1. And when we call it, this particular function will receive 1 as a 0 address, and we'll call it for the next one, and next one is not 1, but that will be 2. So you call it for 2, it will save it, and then it will call it for 3. So basically here it is just saying 1, but this one is with reference to your 0. स्टार्ट में आपका रेफरेंस 0 0 था, तो ये 1 कॉल किया. नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आप कॉल बैक करेंगे, दिस 0 विल बी 1 एंड 1 विल बी 2. ओके, देन नेक्स्ट जब आप 2 के लिए कॉल करेंगे, तो इट विल एज्यूम दैट योर अरे स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2, और उसको वो 0 कंज्यूम कर रहा होगा, 0 एज्यूम कर रहा होगा. सो इन दिस वे द फंक्शन विल पुटिंग ऑल द डेटा इनटू द स्टैक, जो मैंने आपको एक डेमो बताया था एट द टाइम आई टॉट यू द रिकर्जन. इस तरीके से ये रिकर्सिवली स्ट्रिंग स्टैक होता रहेगा, and finally when it will reach to this one, it will return. So when it will return, the topmost means कि जो last character है, this character will be outputted onto the screen. और फिर ये रिवर्स ऑर्डर के अंदर स्ट्रक्चर से बाहर आएगा, और ये रिवर्स ऑर्डर के अंदर पुट चार जो है फंक्शन विल डिस्प्ले द आउटपुट. सो ये एग्जांपल में नॉट ओनली यू आर लर्निंग द एफ गेट एस एंड पुट एस, बट आल्सो you are learning a good exercise for the recursion. So let us build this exercise by Control F7, good, and Control F5. This is the output. So enter a line, quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay, the reverse of this function is basically the reverse whatever you have entered here. So if just you want to have it separate, I can say put s, so that you can have a new line here. Now Control F7, Control F5. This time this is a sample text input. Enter. Okay, so you have seen that this reverse takes place of this, okay, and through recursion. So we have learned it with the help of recursion, and basically the purpose was to show you these input and output functions, but luckily we have got something very interesting. So next is using function getChar. This is a function that people very often we use. This getChar, last time we said getS and put char, but this time we will use a function getChar and putS function, the combination of these two. So just to save time, I will simply be copying the data directly into the same buffer. Control C, and I am not going to save it, rather I am just going to put it back here. Okay, we need to delete this so that I've got, and this is basically not this but another example, you know that. Okay, So what we are doing, we use a get char to read a character from keyboard. C is equal to get char. Unless until you press catch return, you can keep on entering the data in the array. So get s की बजाय हम यहाँ पर get char use कर रहे हैं. We are reading the data character by character. So this is a check that while I is size -1 कि ये आपके buffer से ज़्यादा overflow ना करे. The size of the buffer is 60, so it's from 0 to 79, and until अगर इससे पहले you have entered a new line character or carriage return, then it should stop. So this will read the data and then it will put the data. Okay, reverse sum, since we are not using it, so let us delete it. Okay, so compile, run, enter a line. This is the line. I have entered using get char function. Enter. So this is the line that I have entered using get char function. So I can read any character. So that's why I've just used this angle bracket also, that you should not be worried. Or we are using the spaces also. Don't worry, because we have said that keep on reading the data this while it is not new line. So that's why it has kept reading the data while it's not a new line function. Interesting. So let us find what do I have in the form of next example. Okay, reading from the function. This was something that we have studied, and this time we will use this function, and this function will read from the string. Okay, this s is a function and this is the data that we will place x and y, and then printf function, and this is printf function. Printf basically write करता है into the string. So whatever the data we will read from the keyboard, scanf से हम read करेंगे here, or we will write it where? Not on the output string, not on the output terminal, but we'll be writing it into the string s जो हमने यहाँ पर define किया. So very interesting example. आप देख रहे हैं कि मैं बहुत सारी चीज़ें इस दफ़ा सेव नहीं कर रहा हूँ, and I expect you कि आप you will be doing it by yourself. Control V, और ये मैं इसको बचाने के लिए करता हूँ कॉपी, और फिर बाद में इसको डिलीट कर देते हैं हम, सो डैट कि ये हमें स्टेटमेंट टाइप ना करनी पड़े. और आई स्ट्रीम जो है वो भी आई जस्ट कीप इट, मैं उसको डिलीट नहीं करता पिछली एग्जाम्पल से. ओके, सो this is the array we have defined. These are the two variables that we are going to read the data. Then we will display कि हमने जो read किया था, and then we will read, this is the message. Put s से हम वो message keyboard पे please enter an integer and double. We will read the value integer and double, and then whatever data we have read, we will not write it down onto the screen, but we will copy it onto the string function. और जब once we copy it into this function, then we will be using this printf function to output, to demonstrate the output. Okay, build. Lot of warnings, but no error. Good. Enter an integer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 is an integer, and a double. Double is 5678.9090. 1. Okay, so the formatted output stored in an array, or you have stored integer data, you have stored double data, and this data is, interestingly, you have placed it into the string, and here we are just outputting the string using the specifier %s. Your integer and double data has been stored in a string as if they are the string variables, and then you can use it also over there. So we are also demonstrating the result. Or you carry return line feed. This has also been stored in the string as a new line. Okay, suppose I enter here, I run it again, control F5, I run it again, and this time I say 1 2 3 4 5 space 6 7 8 9 0.123. Then I enter, and it is writing this here. So ये क्या new line character कहाँ से आया? We must be using this. Yes, between the two data items we are using \n, a new line, and this new line means के it is there in the string. Suppose I delete it, जो मैं आपको show करना चाह रहा था. Okay, suppose I delete it and then I compile it again, build. Oh, this output window should be closed. Okay, so I build again, then I run again, and I enter 1 2 3 4 5 space 5 6 7 8 9 0.7890. This time no space, integer this and double this. Okay, nahi line nahi aayi. So it has stored in the string that the integer, then the integer data, double and then double data. और जब हमने यहाँ पे \n यूज़ किया था तो string के अंदर भी ये \n जो है आपने देखा कि ये \n में it has gone with the new line. Do remember, and I will also try to remember that we need to close it. Whenever we are in hurry, we make mistakes. So 4532 and 908.897, and this time it is stored in two different lines, the data. Okay, that was something interesting. And what do I have? Scanf function. This of scanf function, instead of reading it from the keyboard, we will read it from the function. ठीक है, और अब हम बजाय कीबोर्ड से हम इसको we can combine these two programs together also if we like. Okay, so but here we have an initialize function, so we can use it same, control C, and I can take it back here and using it, and then I can delete just to save some time. Okay, and iostream is there, stdio, I can just delete this. It's a duplication. Okay, let's build it. So this was the data that was provided as a string, and my scanf function now have read this data first, %d as integer value, and next long float lf this value. Okay, and I have now this value, and now I can use this value x and y. X as an integer, y as float, and this is automatically converted into the integer and this, and I can use it. So we can see the vice versa also works. We can do in both ways. We can read from a string and we can write it into the string. So maybe I'm coming closer to the end. Before that, I will have to demonstrate string copy and let's do that. String copy example here. So delete, Control V. So ये हम करते हैं सिर्फ इसको बचाने के लिए, to save time, and rest is okay. But do we need String.h, stdio and iostream we need, so we can delete this size क्योंकि size हमने यहाँ पर different define किया है. String copy we can take up, and okay, so this time we will say we have defined happy birthday, then we have defined a string y, then we have defined string 2, and we will be using a function here. String in array is x, or then we will copy x into y, so means it's a duplicated, should be printed. So this x should be printed here, x into y, and this then string copy zx size 2 minus 1. Size 2 is 15, so it's mean that it should copy 14 characters of x into z. Okay, does not apply to null character. Obviously you just then it will copy the 14 characters only into z, and then we can display the result on z. So with the string copy I have taught you in the lecture, so this is a good demonstration, and we can see that build don't worry with the warnings. Okay, it's working. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. So basically this was x, then we copy it into y, so we produce happy birthday to you, then say happy birthday, because we have used the third version of string copy here, second version, and that second version is here. We have specified the string n here, so here it is a string copy and here it is string n copy. Okay, मैंने बताया था ना, we can use n here, so that a separate function where you can specify the number of characters that you may like to copy. Okay, so strcat concatenation. So we can perform concatenation, see how it works. Okay, concatenation. So we have defined these two functions here. This is the duplication that I can delete. Happy New Year. And string concatenation, we are concatenating string 2, copying string 2 at the end of string 1. So that is the use of this string concatenation. And then this is string ncat. So you can define the number of characters, 6 characters that you want to copy from string number 1 to string number 3, and then you can display the result also. Okay, so the demonstration of string copy here, string cat and string ncat. Copying S2 to S1, copying 6 characters from S1, this one, 6 character, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into string 3, which is empty string here. Okay, so we can build of this output window. always becomes problem for us. Build, okay, debug. First it copies Happy New Year, so you have copied, concatenated rather, not copied, concatenated string 2 into string 1, this is the output. Then we have concatenated a blank string, we have copied happy, and we are copying just a 6. Then we have copied this happy New Year. Why? Because string 3 may now we have concatenated string 1, so string 3 is happy, and string 1 is after concatenation it was Happy New Year. So this Happy New Year is basically the demonstration of the string concatenation. Close this window and we are very close to string compare. तो इसको सिर्फ हम यूज़ करते हैं आईओ स्ट्रीम के लिए, तो रिमेनिंग एसटीडी इज दैट्स ओके, आईओ स्ट्रीम इज ऑल्सो देयर, इसको इकट्ठा कर देते हैं एंड दिस टाइम इज अ स्ट्रिंग कंपेयर नॉट concatenation. Good. Seems to be okay. We have defined string s1, then string s2, then string s3, and we are comparing these strings here, and we can see that the string compare s1 with s2, and we call this function s1 and s2, then s1 with s3, then compare s3 with s1. Okay, and here we are comparing number of characters only. We are comparing only 6 characters, then the 7 characters, then the 7 characters. Okay, 6, 7 and 7. Why? Okay, we have not deleted yet. So we can find out the output. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. When compare string 1 and string 2, both are same, you return 0. String 1 with string 3, string 1 contains happy is the same, n comes after h, so this is greater than that. So if string 1 is greater than string 2, the answer is positive, and that is 1. If compare string 3 with string 1, since h is less than n, so it will -1. Here if you compare the 6 character, it means that it is 0. If you compare 7 characters, so 7 character means that after 6 the character does 6 matching characters. So you are comparing s1 with s3, okay, and you are comparing the 7 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 match, and the 7th one is not matching here. Okay, similarly reverse, we are comparing this one -6, so it is giving you the reverse order data. Okay, just to see it further, if you just want to put here string happy G, and then run it again, -1, 1. Okay, comparison, both are not equal, because now they are not equal, so it's showing minus. This s2 is greater than s1, so 0 तो इसमें नहीं आएगा because they are not equal. And s3 with s2 are comparing 7, so it is giving you the answer, which is says that negative number and positive number. You just concentrate on that, because we will not be using this, we're just using the positive and negative. Okay, greater than, less than, less than, because we have changed the data here in this particular example. Okay. And if we just compare, instead of 7, we just compare 6 character, then they should show some matching. Control F7, Control F5. This time you see they match, and S1 equal to S3 because 6 characters match together. This they match together, they match together. Okay, so that was the demo, and maybe I've got just the last example, maybe second last, or maybe few more. Let us see. String character, this is just to see whether this we have initialized A and this one. If character 1 was found in string, then you can see it returns that this A is there. If it's Z, this is not there. So we can here string char this one, character 1 that was found in C, and then we have called the function character 1 seems to be character 1 comma string. So we are passing it as an argument. So let us run it, and then I will show you. Control C. This time I've got pause also, so maybe I can delete this. Control V. So I've defined a character 1, which is character 1, which is equal to A. So I have initialized a data type character 1, which is A. Then I have initialized a character 2, that is a data type character, which is initialized with Z. Then we call the string char function. String char basically compare this, whether this is there in the function or not. Okay, and if it is found, yes, otherwise else, it says that return true or false. Okay, and then we string 2 together, we can search whether it is there or not. So we run this, build, a syntax error, line number 38. Where is, let us see, where is line number 38, 31, 32, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, line number 38. Okay, we need to match. This is start and this is end. Okay, then if this ending with this, else this ending with this. Okay, this seems to be the extra that is causing problem. That was okay. Instead we missed out this semicolon here. Okay, now it seems to be okay. Build, it works. This is a test. A was found, this is a test. Z was not found, this is a test. Okay, so you can find whether your given character is in the test or in the string or not. And I think we are coming close to the end. String basically is this search a string within a string, that whether this def is a part of this string or not. This is again an interesting exercise, so let us do it also, ताकि आप भी इसको सुकून से बैठ के इन तमाम exercises को you should also try at home. This I can delete. Okay, just duplicated lines are deleted. Now this is a string 1 has been defined, string 1 to be searched, and this is the data that we need to be searched within this. And for that purpose we can use string. So we pass on to string 2, occurrence of string 2 is searched in string 1, and this the remainder of the string in the beginning that we have written it by ourselves, but we can say that instead of this, because we don't know where it is that, so just to confuse, so the string 1 beginning with the string 1 and first occurrence of string 2, that is more appropriate. Okay, let us build this. So the string 1, the first occurrence of string 2 is def, this. Okay, so you have find it this in this particular function. So you are searching this string, and this basically it starts from this particular def abc def. Okay, जहाँ से ये string start हुआ है इसके अंदर, तो जहाँ से starting string है that is provided, and this is the search. So basically आप if you want me to give you some example, FAB कर देते हैं. So फिर ये DE से नहीं बल्कि FAB starts from this string 1. You can put back beginning with the FAB. Okay, so I just run here again. This was our string, this is the search. So we have searched it and said that string 2 की beginning जो है FAB DEF this from this point onward, and this is the search over there. Okay, so it's a very interesting function. And finally string length, we use it and we have defined it over function also, but just for the sake of demonstration, जब हमने सारी demonstration की है, then why not this also. Control V. Okay, stdio string.h, we can always keep this here, and we can delete this duplication. Good, build and then debug. The length of string 1, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, I, J, K element complete, so the length is 26. Length of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't count backslash 0. Boston, this. So, dear students, we have done quite a good number of exercises, hands-on exercises, and I have used the same exercises that have been provided in your reference book. So that was something that I have been asking you from the beginning, that whatever example I quote you during my lesson, please use that particular example, copy it into the environment and see the how it works, and then try to make a couple of changes so that you understand its function, and that is the only way through which you can enhance your skills. हमने कहा था ना, programming is an art, programming is a skill, programming is a science, programming is an engineering. So ये सारा कुछ उस वक्त आएगा when you will learn the programming. So in order to learn the art of programming and in order to learn the skill of programming, you need to spend good time in the programming environment. So I think that with this particular lecture, you should find some useful demonstration that should help you in establishing your confidence while doing your programming in C language and in the environment Visual C++ or Visual C. Okay, so this is sufficient for today. So inshallah we'll meet again with the next lesson, next lecture. Till then, Khuda Hafiz, Allah Nigeban.